Some coasters are just straight weird, like just incredibly quirky and want to be different from every other amusement ride. Today's video, we are going to be covering the weirdest coasters. These could be models, specific rides, and literally anything else. The only qualification that we are setting is it has to be a roller coaster. So no, there are no flat rides or dark rides, not saying that they don't exist. There are a lot of other quirky rides, but we will save that for another video. Starting off our random list that goes in no specific order at all is the SNS Streaming Squirrel. There were 3 of these constructed, but the last operated one is currently sitting in China. These coasters are kind of like 4D free spins because they only take up a vertical footprint and also kind of suck. They continuously do saxophone turns going down from the top, which gives an insane amount of hang time, and that's about it. Depending on who you are, this could be an amazing experience, or could it be an uncomfortable experience. Even though the coaster isn't the best, it is very quirky. From the outside alone, it does not look like this should be allowed to operate in the way it does, and the diagonal support structure is just out of this world. Next up is a coaster that a lot of you may know, because it's like a meme in the coaster community. We have, let me botch the name really quick, 100%. This is Dogfart Coaster in English. Yes, this coaster is themed to Dogfart. It has some light theming of a dog spreading its legs. It's just very strange. The actual coaster itself is just a zero family coaster, but the theming is what makes it so incredibly weird. Now let's talk about a quirky model. The tilt coaster is very strange. I mean, it's kind of become a more normalized thing in the coaster community now that Vekoma is back on the rise, but to be a GP and see Gravity Max for the first time, it's very unconventional and would amaze me. What's even more strange is Battle of the Jungle King, which is a dueling tilt coaster in China. While the layout is very subpar, the coaster itself looks really cool and is indeed very weird. If one tilt track wasn't quirky enough, 2 facing each other definitely is. Now that we are somewhat on the topic of models, let's talk about another one that's objectively a strange model, the Togo Ultra Twisters. On these coasters, riders sit in these pill-like capsules while going on an out and back layout. There's a vertical lift hill, which is already unique in and of itself, and then you drop into a one-direction hardline rolls with track completely surrounding the vehicle. You then go back on a weird piece of track that gets you back to the station. Like I said, very strange. While we were talking about Togo, they are responsible for some other janky coasters that just shouldn't exist. One of them is the Looping Mouse. These are wild mouses with inversions. I mean, in of itself, it's not that crazy. Like, shout out to Pinfari's icons with loops, those are quirky and cool, I guess. But to see a coaster that normally should not go upside down and then to add a tight vertical loop, it's just an odd sight to see. Also, quick shout out to Togo's one cycle coaster that they built. It's not a huge deal, it's still weird though. Now let's talk about a few rides with some weird ride vehicles, because there are a few coasters in this category. One of them is Lost Coaster of Superstition Mountain. This coaster has fully enclosed vehicles. If that's not strange enough, it's a hybrid coaster with wood track and metal supports, and has weird elements like an elevator lift. It's actually crazy how different this coaster wants to be. On that topic, you can look at the Chance Rides Toboggan. These coasters have a vertical lift and enclosed cars as well. It spirals on the lift, progressively gaining more speed and more potential to absolutely hurt you. So yes, very strange. Another ride kinda like this is Ice Mountain Bobsled at Enchanted Forest. This is also enclosed cars, but has more of a mountain coaster-like layout with some half-assed theming. I really feel like we can name so many coasters in this list, but here are some rapid-fire coasters that are quirky that probably don't deserve their own segment. One category is log flume coasters, which has an example at Enchanted Forest called Big Timber Log Ride. There's also Skyline Skywarps because they just go in circles and are relatively forceless. Another interesting model is the Cobra one by PAX. This was a really quirky single rail with a loop where the track just dissolved into a body of a cobra. There's also Trenin, which is a wing coaster where the cars swing out so it doesn't invert at all. It's just really interesting. Also, there's like any butterfly coaster. You kind of just sit in a laundry basket and go back and forth. Extra credit to Rainbow Ride's Freefall in Afghanistan because it's like a butterfly but with full-out trains. Now, when I was doing my research for quirky coasters, one of my viewers in my Discord, link in the description by the way, helped me find a whole bunch of the most random stuff ever, so be prepared to see these crazy defunct and completely obscure coasters. The first one that we will talk about is Montaña Rusa and Ala Delta. There are a lot of coasters in this style, but we will use this one as an example. This coaster is like extremely sketchy. The track is poorly banked and just has weird transitions from straight track to straight track. Also, the coaster car looks hella sketchy. It's literally a metal bar hanging down from the track with some duct tape on it. I don't think I would even trust my life with this coaster, even for the +1. It hasn't operated since 2015 and is built by an unknown manufacturer, so I think it's fair to say I won't anyways. Another really quirky coaster is Slalom at Pattaya Park. This is an in-house coaster that looks to have ripped off elements from like every manufacturer. It has the track of an aero looper, it has the lift hill of a Zamperla Velair, and it has the layout of a Togo. This break design of a coaster just looks very strange and honestly not that good of a ride. However, I would trust this coaster with my life because it looks somewhat safe. It's also in Thailand, so that gives it some credibility, but just seeing Aero Track with a spiral lift hill is a super bizarre sight. Fat Diving Speedy's car at Hangzhou Children's Park is an interesting coaster. It's made by Nanfang, a amusement company, and looks like a ripoff of Pteranodon Flyers. The trains have little animals on the front that you literally cannot tell what animal it's trying to be. It's a cool terrain coaster, and I guess it's deserving to a spot on this list. Switching to a model, the Schwarzkopf Catapult model is just so incredibly strange. It is a shuttle coaster that has a vertical loop, except the rocking back and forth is also in a circle, which just makes for an interesting ride experience. There's also dry tires on the loop because, yes, just another strange shuttle coaster, and there are plenty more to come. RC Racer at Lakeview Park in Pakistan is an indeed quirky shuttle coaster. The seats are literally just plastic outlines with a random metal bar coming across the lap, and to make it even stranger, it is a wing coaster. It just swings back and forth in a U-shape, but the fact that it's so janky and so unknown makes it seem stranger than it actually is. Next up, we have a shuttle coaster called Kamikaze. This is perhaps the most strangest shuttle coaster that I have ever seen. It's 2 loops, but the coaster gains speed while traversing the 2 loops, and instead of a spike on each side, it just wraps back around into it like a zero-G stall. This coaster is super unconventional and a hang time machine, but like a lot of the others, it does not look super safe. Another super interesting coaster series is by a company called Radar Play. This manufacturer makes super small kiddie coasters / family coasters that seat a single person. The cars have this weird piece of fiberglass over them which just looks very strange. Some of these coasters have an elevator lift and some have chain lifts. It's just really strange to see a coaster of this side have an elevator lift, and to add weird carts and borderline clearance, it's pretty funny. Outer Space Flying Car at Fisherman Wharf in Shanghai is a looping toboggan coaster, which is pretty insane. These don't have enclosed cars, thank god, but it does have these super sketchy duct tape restraints along with a vertical chain lift. We're going to end the video talking about a well-known coaster because I feel like it. Now I introduce to you Moonsault Scramble because, well, this thing is literally insane. This coaster was a Vekoma boomerang if it was on steroids. It was actually insane. It pulled an entire 6.5 Gs, which is literally mind-blowing.
What? What the f***?
To put that into perspective, the max G-force pull on Intimidator 305 is 4.5 Gs. So this is one of the most intense coasters on the planet, but you can't ride it because it's defunct, and it might be better off defunct. So those are some of the weirdest coasters on the planet for you. I say some because, well, there are so many coasters and so many strange ones. I am sure I forgot some of your favorites, so just tell me down in the comment section below, or even better, in my Discord server, link in the description, because I like learning about new things every day. This video was really fun to make, and I didn't even touch the crazy dark rides and flat rides that are out there in the world. I'm considering making a short series on this because it's very interesting and we stopped doing uploads on Wednesdays, so let me know what your thoughts are on that. Anyways, enough with the rant. I hope I introduced you to some weird coasters. That's all for this video, guys. As always, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.